Hey guys, this is Lashette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I'm starting a new vlog for Remixed Classics, the Romeo and Juliet and Teach the Torches to Burn vlog. Yeah, so I'm actually filming this months after I've read these. I was all over the place when I read these two and didn't film properly. So I never filmed an opening or closing. But yeah, let's get into it. Go back to old me here with the clips. We'll start out with listening to the audio of Romeo and Juliet.
Benvolio, look upon thy death. What, drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word as I hate hell, all Montagues and thee.
And now, Rome's ancient citizens, you disturb our streets again. You approach.
With the servants of your adversary and yours close fighting.
Thus, with a kiss, I die.
St. Francis be my speed. Oh, how oft tonight have my old feet stumbled to graves. Who's there?
There's one, a friend, and one that knows you well.
Bliss be upon you.
Was not this whole chunker, but so I have something to hold up. I read Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. Oh my goodness, I can't even pronounce his name right. I actually listened to it. 2:45. But like I said, I have something to hold up. I got this. Yeah. So it's fairly short. It's about 30 pages out of this whole chunker, which is a complete collection of William Shakespeare. I guess I did kind of tandem read. And this, if you're wondering, was a Barnes & Noble special edition, like in the early 2000s, with the gold edges or whatever, that I have not taken a very good care of, but that wasn't on purpose. The audio was a full cast audio with Joseph Fiennes and David Tennant, which I didn't realize until the end of the audiobook when they were listing the names of the actors. This was audio theater, so we got all the like scuffs of people's feet moving around and sheets being pulled up or down as people got in or out of bed, and like with the fights and movements. Though I think there could have been more sounds of their rapiers or swords, whatever the hell they were fighting with, actually hitting each other. But that's a minute thing. I just noticed it, like, it sounded more like brawls than like fisticuffs or whatever, than whatever have you. Y'all know what Romeo and Juliet is about. We're in Verona. These two families hate each other, the Montagues and the Capulets. Unfortunately, Romeo one day falls in love with Juliet. Romeo and Juliet are the only children of their parents, each the heirs of their families, the Montagues and the Capulets. Romeo's a Montague, I believe. Juliet's a Capulet. If I'm mistaken, I would get them confused because it didn't matter. They fall in love at first sight, and it's all very dramatic teenager shit, which and then they die in the end because they couldn't deal with their families constantly fighting. This is an understatement. The reason I read this was for my own read-along, the Remixed Classics Readalong. This was the July bonus book because the July book and the Remixed Classics Readalong was a remix of this. So I really wanted to read something else, but it wasn't available. A different version, manga version. I was so down for that, and now it's on its way, mid-August. Anyway, not much to say. I have a whole reading blog about that.
Fair Verona in his many public speeches, even though, in my own experience, it is a deeply unfair place to live. Church bells are ringing the hour as I finally reach the city gates, my legs weak from miles of walking on an empty stomach. I've no one to blame but myself for this suffering, of course, but still I curse the earth for the distance it forced me to travel. After all, as my father likes to say, if you can't find someone else to blame, you are not trying hard enough. But then he never thinks I am trying hard enough. In fact, my journey from home this morning was prompted by something he'd said to me yesterday, after he let himself into my chambers and found me coloring in a sketch I'd made of some wildflowers. "You are not a child anymore, Romeo," he declared furiously, snatching the sheet of parchment out of my hands and tearing it in half. I was devastated. It was a piece I'd been working on for weeks. "You have 17 years behind you now. One day, you will be the head of this family, and I expect you to behave accordingly. There will be no more of these frivolous pursuits." He shook the shreds of my artwork in my face. "Come the fall, you will either commit to an apprenticeship under me and learn to manage your future affairs, or else you will join the prince's army and learn to be a man." Ever since I surpassed my 16th year, it seems I can make no choice that doesn't result in a lecture by my parents, a litany of reminders about my duties and obligations, as if they could be forgotten. Already the weight of them causes my heart to sink as I trudge up the winding lane that leads to the back of our villa, even though I just spent the better part of the last hour unburdening myself to the wisest man I know. And, as always, his counsel was maddeningly obscure. At the end of every story is a new beginning. Whatever that means. But I suppose riddles are what I deserve for seeking advice from someone who talks to his plants. My bedchamber is on the second story of our home. My windows overlooking the orchard and gardens that supply the kitchen. The stones ribbed with dense veins of creeping ivy. I've always loved the view I have, and in this season it is especially lovely. A rich green sea blanketing the hillside, and
Teach the Torches to Burn. This is by Caleb Rohrig, who I have never heard of or read any other book from, but I'm interested. So this remix classic is a remix of Romeo and Juliet. Again, check out the vlog for more details. This reminded me most closely of The Great Gatsby, of Self-Made Boys, not only because it's a male-male relationship, the remix, but I think it follows very truly to the original, and to the point where in this case I was like, we could have not had certain scenes and this would have been great. The romance was so cute, and I so love that. This is YA, and that's one of the things I do like with YA romances, the getting together of teenagers, the crush, the rush of feelings, the hormones, basically. I like that, and especially if it's, their first kiss together, or whatever first in that relationship always seems sweeter when in YA than like an adult. And that's not to say that adult relationships are not sweet or can't be cute. It's just different. Like there's a nostalgia element for me watching or reading young adults like in the first flush of their relationship. So there was that. I love Juliet in this, so she is badass. Basically we're following Romeo, who is dealing with the fact that he is gay, and this is not something I've thought about too much before when reading LGBTQIA plus characters, but I have now because of the hardest reading challenge, because there is a book you're supposed to read if they're questioning, and I'm like, is this questioning, or is it he knows and he can't say it because he's scared? And maybe that word didn't exist back then. So this is set in the same time period, the same overall situation or whatever. We like the prince even less here, because there was some stuff I forgot or I conflated with some of the movies. So like the prince is too wishy-washy for me. I'm like, either pick a side or kick both of these fucking families out, because it's ridiculous. It is. I agree with the prince that it's ridiculous, but it's also like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're hoping that they become adults and figure it out, but whatever. Anyway, back to this. The way it ended, I liked, but the end, 100 to 50 to 100 pages is where I was like, oh, we didn't need this. We didn't need this. This was like not a third act breakup, but it was like, oh, let's add another conflict in here. I was just like, this didn't need to happen. Y'all had a plan. Yeah, we didn't need this to happen. But I was very happy for them in the end, and the author's note put it quite perfectly, in my opinion. Instead of this being like Romeo and Juliet, this cautionary tale to adults to like, watch your children, pay attention to them, listen to them, be interested in, what they are interested in, and don't dismiss their feelings, and also, learn from them. Don't let your grudges and your issues carry over to the next generation, things like that. Rather, this story, like Self-Made Boys, is just about the kids triumphing over their adversities, including the LGBTQ QIA plus issues, the homophobia, the questioning, the worry about how family is going to take it and things like that, and you know, giving up what path the parents have set for them and just going for what they want, creating their own path. And so that's what makes this more YA than the original Romeo and Juliet. And I've said too much because there's not a lot to say. This is fairly short, and so is Romeo and Juliet. That audiobook was only 3 hours, y'all. So that was it. Since then, I have rewatched my favorite Romeo and Juliet movie, the Romeo plus Juliet by Baz Luhrmann, I think it is, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. I just love how it was modernized in that way. Teach the Torches to Burn is just a better story. But Romeo and Juliet is a better lesson, I guess. But that being said, we're closing out this vlog now. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you wish, and I'll see you in the next remix vlog video. So hit that notification bell so you know when that is coming. The links in the description to everything I mentioned, including the movie and the books. There's also links to my Storygraph and Goodreads if you would like to find out what I'm reading, when I'm reading it. And friend me there. You can friend me also on Instagram or Twitter. And there is a 10% off discount code to my Etsy shop, where I make all natural bath and body products for magical and mundane purposes. Lastly, my Patreon, where you can get early access to these videos. And in the grapefruit tier, you can get exclusive bookish videos and content. So check that out if you are interested. But that is it for me today. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.